롤링쿼츠 with the song Holler. Now, I've been really enjoying this journey. As you guys know, I'm big into Japanese music, but I do also listen to some Korean music, and I've always felt a little bit sad that there's not more Korean bands out there representing the rock side, or at least just the non-K-pop side of Korean music. I did that interview on my main channel with Yaewon from Rum Kicks and all that, and I really want to hear good stuff. And I'd been aware of 롤링쿼츠 for a while, but I just never really, I'd heard little bits, but I'd never really dived into it. So anyway, I dived in, I've done 2 songs so far, and I've been trying to follow your recommendations. A big thank you to all you 롤링쿼츠 fans who've been giving me recommendations. I decided to go for Holler next. There's a couple of people that mentioned it, but I'm going to continue this further. And the interesting thing is as well, I've always said this, I'm very honest on this channel. You know, I'm not just like one of those people who does reactions where I go, oh my God, that's amazing. I like to talk about what I honestly feel about the songs. And, you know, I won't just do a song for clicks as well, but when it comes to 롤링쿼츠, I've been enjoying it. I've been surprised how good this band is at bringing the charm of more poppy, slickly made music, but also having a rawness and honesty and a musical quality that, you know, you expect from a band. The singer's brilliant. They've had some really cool stuff going on instrumentally. Yeah, so I'm going to be totally honest about everything I hear. The last one that I heard, God, I can't remember, I'm really bad at remembering song names. The last one on the channel that I did by 롤링쿼츠, well, I can't remember the name. That one I really enjoyed. That was a step up. So yeah, anyway, look, I'm going to go into this one, Holler. I've got my hopes, high. I'm already, whatever I think of this one, I'm already definitely going to continue with 롤링쿼츠 because they've just been enjoying it. But I'm hoping for another one that I'm going to really be impressed by. It's quite a short song at 3.5 minutes, so I've just realised I'm not subscribed. Wait for it. Despite all of that, I wasn't subscribed. People, remember to subscribe to channels you like. Alright, anyway, let's jump in with this Holler by 롤링쿼츠. This is from a couple of years back. And interestingly, just so you know, sorry, just quick thing. The last 2 songs I checked out, I believe, was their debut single and their literally most recent one at time of speaking. So I think this is going to be somewhere in the middle. Anyway, let's go. Holler by 롤링쿼츠. I'm genuinely excited. Gonna need me some coffee for this if you want to drink wine. Okay, I asked you guys for some variation, and it looks like we're going to get something a bit different this time. Alright. Getting a bit of a Pretty Reckless vibe here. Oh, I love that kick rhythm. That's a proper funky, soulful kind of kick rhythm. It's interesting because this chanted section is very akin to a writing technique that appears in K-pop, actually. Sorry to bring that up. Nothing wrong with it. A little bit of guitar on the side. Just the little layers, very subtle. I gotta be honest. The tone of the snare drum as well. Oh, I love it. Sharp as anything. Oh, okay. God damn, we're going into the drama a bit here, aren't we? Ooh, some strings as well. Strings instead of a guitar solo. It's like you're just trying to win me over. Oh, nice. Bring the bass up. Nice, 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 nice. Good rising crescendo there. Like I say, I'm on this channel. I'm not here to like just tell you stuff's awesome, but I'm really liking this. I'm really liking this. Okay, so let's break down some of the details. Now, first of all, from a purely musical standpoint, this is one of those songs that fits into that area where I say, you get songs that there's nothing super complex going on, but what there is a lot of nuance. And I think sometimes that can be overlooked. People can listen to music like this and go, oh, well, that's simple. But it's like, no, it's not. There's a lot of nuance going on here. I mean, right down to the fact that that last refrain, that hollow refrain, the bass sort of rises up, sounds very simple, but you have to think to add that. In the verses where the little tiny bits of guitar, like harmonizing off onto one side. These are not revolutionary techniques, but they're applied subtly and carefully to mean that the song has a really interesting feeling. And one of the things that I didn't think about this before, but I think it's definitely worth mentioning, is that we've talked so many times over the last two songs about how one of the things that's really nice about 롤링쿼츠's sound is that it sounds quite light. I don't mean as it's not heavy and rocking. I mean as in all of the various sounds, they're not sort of like overblown and like filling up the headphones. Each of the instruments sounds quite genuinely like it would do if you were in the room with it. Quite pure, quite straight. The guitars don't sound big. They just sound kind of distorted in the way that a guitar would sound. So everything about it sounds quite natural, quite balanced, quite as though you were in a practice room with them. But the funny thing is about that is that does also mean that you're not trying to blow people away with just loud. When something sounds loud, it has to sound it sounds loud because it's written well. It sounds heavy. When we get into that bridge and we're like sort of head banging, I immediately noticed if you compare that to like the head banging sections from a lot of metal songs, the guitar is quite quiet. It's not very turned up. It's not all distorted. It's not like bam, 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 bam. But you really want to headbang because of the fact that it's written well. It's the sudden change to halftime. It's the way that the riff comes in and you feel everything musically achieve that without having to rely on any other techniques to do that. And again, I should point this out. I say this as someone who I'm a big advocate of studio production. I love studio production. I've worked in studios and I adore that. But this doesn't mean you can't do it this way, and they do it this way so well. So I really thought that this lived and died on the songwriting, and the songwriting was subtle. You got all the right things to keep it interesting, keep it going. The holla bit, that is something, if I was being honest, I think probably if I heard this song too many times, that bit could start to grate on me a bit. Holla, holla. So I was kind of glad that bass rise at the end kept it really interesting and made that the final time around a nice payoff rather than just, oh, here we go again. So again, little subtleties like that worked to sort of keep something which was on paper relatively simple chord structures, fairly simple melody, and made it into something that actually gave you a lot of rewarding things to take out of the recording. There's a lot to extract from that, a lot to hear in the recording. So yeah, this is just an example of really good quality, well-structured writing, not in an extravagant way, it's just enough, it's just enough. Another example I'd give, so I've kind of in a lot of ways I've been saying how it's not as over the top and complex as a lot of the music that we often hear from hard rock bands maybe in Japan, as a bit of a stereotype, but maybe to also draw the other side is that the little details are what really elevates something like this over a lot of their Western compatriots. And again, I'm slightly stereotyping, but for example, I often say one of the reasons I don't listen to a lot of Western rock music is because there's certain things that feel lazy that come up again and again, which kind of spoil it for me. And one of them is the fact that a lot of the time you get Western bands where the bassist will just play whatever the guitarist is playing, which is okay sometimes, but just for the entire song, you know, bassist change chord, it's because the guitarist changed chord, and they'll just stick in that note. I was listening to this, and yeah, there was a lot of bass shadowing the guitar, but there was like little bass runs, little interesting things here and there. And yeah, there's just the little subtleties are in there. Now, I have to also give credit to overall the tone of this song, because a lot of things I'm saying here apply for a lot of the other 롤링쿼츠 songs we've heard so far. But I also like the fact this had kind of a bit of a soulful feel to it. Yes, it went heavy at its points, but it was kind of soulful where it needed to be. The rhythmic choices, the drums, again, I mean, drums, I'm saying it for the millionth time, not super complicated, just the right things. You know, like I said, that slightly off-kilter kick drum, it kind of gave it a little bit of a skip. You know, that little skipping feeling, that little bit of rhythm keeps it more interesting than just sort of banging away on the drum kit. You know, little details like that, the delivery of the vocalist, who we've said before, she's very well trained, and obviously it comes across, and she does a beautiful job of adding soul in there. And I do think that as well, that she's a very strong part of their sound. Without someone who had that kind of depth to the vocal level, then yeah, maybe the rest of the band would, yeah, it all works together. Again, it all works together. Everyone's just adding the right little nuances to create something that overall feels surprisingly filled out, surprisingly fleshed out. Yeah, do you know, I'll say it now, I'll be honest. When I first went into this 롤링쿼츠 journey, there was a little bit of me that thought, I'll hear a couple of songs and I'll see how I feel. But there's a possibility that it's like, maybe it's going to remind me of a lot of the reasons why I don't often get on with non-Japanese rock bands as much. I was kind of thinking, like, I was like, oh, I hope I can get through a few songs and enjoy them. And yeah, I really want to give it a chance. But I got to be honest, after 3 songs, I'm genuinely excited to hear more. It's great. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It is different from Japanese rock. It is different from a lot of the things that I like about that. But as I've often said, that Korean music, Korean contemporary music, a lot of the time exists in this interesting space between Japanese music, which I feel is definitely the most free form, and Western music, which, yes, obviously has more of a general appeal because it's very good at being, should we say, it's very good at like being catchy and pleasing everyone. And Korean music often lies somewhere in the middle, where it has the nuances of Japanese music, but also more of a mainstream appeal like Western music. And sometimes that can work, sometimes it doesn't. For example, I think a lot of K-pop has fallen into this space of being very much just, they found one thing that works and they just don't, it's not varied enough, so it becomes very much of a type. This, to me, this feels like a good balance of what I feel is almost the archetype of Korean music. It is getting the details and nuances that we're used to from like Japanese music, and I guess Asian music as a general seems to be leading the way in that. And it's combining it also with the general appeal, the ease of access that you'd expect from like a lot of more Western artists. Yeah, I really like this. I'm excited for more. I think it's a really interesting band. Get in the comments, tell me what you think. Give me more recommendations. I've already got I've already got quite a few recommendations from you guys. Just so you know, I'm not jumping straight to the live material yet. I've talked a little bit about why. I don't mind explaining it again. Not jumping straight to that. I also know they got some popular covers. I'm kind of trying to avoid them at first for now because I still really want to feel like I want to get to know the band and their writing, and then expand into these things. So yeah, get in the comments, tell me what you think. I'll try and aggregate, as more and more opinions come in, I'll aggregate them together and I'll try and listen to the songs you guys want me to listen to. But what a great start. Really enjoying this. Let's listen to more. Anyway, there you go. Until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. For now, ciao, ciao.